Good morning, friends. It's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and I'm outside today doing the morning chores with Gabriel because my son David asked to trade off. Every once in a while he'll do that and he'll say, I'll make breakfast for the family if you'll go do my farm chores. And so today the sun's out, it's shining, it's not cold, and I was happy to take him up on that offer. So why don't you come along and let's get started. I haven't updated you guys on the chicks that we hatched a couple videos ago. They're a couple weeks old now and they're doing great. As you can see, they're getting feathers, getting nice and big. Today we cleaned out their brooder and we're just getting ready to put them back in. I thought I'd show you our favorite guy. This here is Abraham Lincoln for obvious reasons. He has a nice full black beard there, but they're really sweet and they should enjoy their clean new brooder here. Back inside from chores, and David's been busy flipping pancakes. He's got quite a little pile going already, and so that's a blessing. Outdoor chores are done, breakfast is in the works, I can start some laundry, and then we'll get this day started. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
All right, the kids have eaten breakfast. I've got the kitchen cleaned up and done a lot of my just kind of house maintenance here on the main floor of the house while the kids did their morning routine of getting dressed, brushing their teeth, and doing the inside chores that need done before we start our day. And now I'm getting ready to call them down to kind of get our day started. You know, our day starts as soon as we wake up, but everything we do up until this point is just routine. It's the stuff we always get done. And then we always reach this point in the morning where we need to decide what we're going to do today that's special, or the tasks we're going to accomplish, maybe a project that we're going to do. And lately what's been working for us is to have the kids set a list of goals in their homeschool and in their hobbies. And so I'm going to call them down and we're going to do that. They pick maybe 4 things that they want to get done, maybe 3 subjects that they're going to study in their curriculum. So, you know, maybe they'll choose math and they'll do a lesson in their language arts, and then maybe they're going to do a writing assignment, or they're going to do a geography assignment, something like that. And then they'll typically pick one goal that isn't really academic, that's more like their own hobbies. So, you know, Gracie might choose to do a sewing project, or Elizabeth lately has been really loving ballet, and so she's been getting out her ballet books and kind of messing around with that. Gabe usually gets on the computer and does some coding and things like that. And so I'm going to call them down, we're going to choose those goals, and then we can start the special part of our day, I guess the fun stuff.
Ed, we're going to be outside most of the day after.
And it needs to be intentional, says Ed, which reminds me that Daddy said you boys need to open the cellar doors in the shed because it's not supposed to rain for the next couple days. So let's open it. So I'm talking intentional, let's do some running or some push-ups or pull-ups, something that's actually working your body.
Can you do baseball and also because Ed?
Yeah, if you guys are playing for a while, a half an hour or more of an activity, okay? All right, David, 4 goals for today.
Baking.
Okay, the kids picked all their goals and they're busy tackling the list they made. There are things like doing a math lesson. I think someone chose spelling. We had some computer work. They all chose to do some phys ed today. They're going to go outside and probably play a baseball game, and that'll count as phys ed. Anyways, they're very busy working on that. While they got started, I had to nurse the baby and get him content. He's on my back now. Hopefully we'll take a nap. And then while I was nursing him, I read some books to the little boys, got them all content. They've had some, oh, did you finish a goal?
Oh yeah, I read your spelling.
You got your spelling done, awesome. So they check them off their lists as they go. Anyways, I read a book to the little boys while I was nursing the baby, so now the boys are content. They're gonna work on playing, just doing what they want to do while the big kids finish up their school. My job right now is to start tackling my list, so I'll just pop from older kid to older kid and see if they need my help. Otherwise, I'm going to start lunch, thinking of making a soup. It's almost 10 o'clock. We eat at noon, so if I get the soup started now, it should be ready in time, and then I can tackle the rest of my to-do list today, and I'll take you along on some of that. So, Benjamin, time for a nap. Hopefully he'll take a nap back there today. Got Gracie here working on a letter to a pen pal, and she's here so I can help her with any spelling and grammar help that she needs. Meanwhile, I'm working on her soup, so I'm trying to work through my freezer right now. I have a lot of stuff from last year saved up. I just ripped my bag trying to break up this big old chunk of corn. But anyways, this was pulled out of the freezer, and I'm just trying to use up everything that I have in there. So today we're going to make a corn chowder for lunch. I've got a gallon here of frozen corn from last year. I've got, these are some drippings left over. I made chicken on Sunday night and I made chicken last night, and this was just kind of what was left over in the pots for making it. So I'm going to dump that in. That'll give some good fat and flavor. I got maybe 5 little potatoes diced up in here, and then I'm going to add some salt, some parsley, and some pepper. This chicken was flavored with a lot of onion and garlic and things, so I'm not going to add extra to this. I think this should be enough flavor, but we'll see, and I'll just kind of taste it as we go. And that's the great thing about soup. It's forgiving. It really doesn't matter what you add to it. It's probably going to turn out pretty amazing, and this is a great way to clear some stuff out of the freezer and the fridge, and I can just get it on the stove and forget about it and go about my day. So we are big soup fans if you haven't already noticed. What are you guys playing?
This.
Are you playing a card game?
Yeah.
That looks fun. Show me how you do it.
What is that? Look, out.
Ouch.
Which one do you pick and buy? This one? Yeah. Out. Whoop. Does that have to pick to buy this one? Out. Whoop. No, that's not whoop.
Working on reading your book?
Yeah.
What book are you reading? The Secret of the Hidden Scrolls. We like that series, don't we? It's fun. Working on your writing curriculum?
Yeah.
Wonderful. What are you doing over here?
Oh, just writing a book.
You're writing a book. Ooh, I can't wait to read it. Kids are really crushing through their goals. I'm working on my goal list. This is the list that I made today. This morning we went ahead and cleaned out the chick brooder. I've got the corn chowder going for lunch. And I'm working on laundry. We are very backed up on laundry because we had some rainy days. We're at a weird spot where that we're not running the wood stove during the day, but also if it gets rainy, we can't hang outside, so sometimes laundry gets backed up. So today I'm hoping to get about 5 or 6 loads done and get caught back up. I would also like to up pot my eggplant starts, put them in a bigger pot, work on hardening off my tomatoes. I need to get them outside. I'll show you that here. And then if I get a chance, maybe later on tonight, I can weed my strawberry beds and then get some onions planted. So this is my very ambitious list. I'll be happy if I get maybe half of this done. We will see. Corn chowder is cooking down. It smells amazing. I think this is going to be a really nice lunch.
Mom, there's another one.
Oh. Okay, ready? We just got the eggplant up potted. Now I'm going to work on hardening off my indoor starts. So I guess I'll explain what that is. This is a tomato plant that I started indoors under grow lights, and it's getting to the point where we're about a month away, 3 weeks away from planting these outdoors. And so I want to start moving towards getting them off of the artificial light indoors and used to the sunlight outdoors. But you can't just take a plant that you've grown indoors and throw it outside. The UV light from the sun is just so much harsher than what they're getting indoors under the grow lights, and it will fry the leaves if you just set them out in direct sunlight. So there's a process called hardening off that these plants have to go through. And what I do is I put them in clear plastic totes. I fill the totes up and I set them for the first day just for a few hours in indirect sunlight. So maybe under a tree where they're getting partial sunlight and a lot of shade as well. And just for a couple hours I'll put them out, and then I'll bring them back inside and put them under the grow lights. And then I'll do that for a couple days, and gradually I'll increase the amount of time that they're in that indirect sunlight to the point where they're sort of in it all day long. And then I can start working on moving them into direct sunlight. So I'll start with just, an hour a day maybe, and not at the height of the sunlight in the day. So I definitely avoid the hours between maybe 10 and 2. And I'll just do it in the morning for a couple of hours and then put them back in the indirect sunlight, and then maybe set them out in the evening for a couple of hours. And eventually the plants will get strong enough to where they can sit out in direct sunlight all day. Hardening off also has to do with wind. Plants, when they're this tiny, the stalk isn't extremely strong. So if I just set them outside and it were very windy out, that wind could be strong enough to actually snap the stalks of these plants. They're not hardened off to that wind. So what I do inside the house as I'm growing these is I try to run a fan on them as much as possible. That kind of moves and bends the plant and gets that stalk used to the movement. I also, every time I walk by my plants, I kind of try to brush across them like this, and that gets them used to it as well. But when I'm hardening these plants off, if it's a particularly windy day, I'm going to pay attention and go outside and make sure that they're doing okay and that I don't need to maybe bring them in to protect them from that. The wind can also be very drying, as can the sun. So these plants that are used to being indoors in maybe cooler temperatures, maybe the water might evaporate more quickly or the wind can dry them out. So I've got to really pay attention as I'm hardening these off to how much water they're getting, and I may need to water a little more frequently. So they're like little babies. You can't just take a child and throw it outside and expect it to survive. You've got to kind of baby them a little bit and introduce them to the elements slowly and harden them off, and then hopefully within about 3 weeks I'll be ready to plant these. They'll be a nice size and we can plant them out into the garden and enjoy tomatoes all summer long. And I'm going to do this today. I'm going to start hardening off my peppers and tomatoes. Those are some of the first items that I started indoors, and they're getting to a decent size where I'm ready to move them out. And then that'll free up some space under my grow lights to maybe start some other items. I might start my okra from seed indoors this year for the first time. Normally I just direct sow it, but I'm thinking maybe I'll try to get a head start on the season this year and start them indoors. So So here I've got some of the larger plants out here today, and they are just gonna sit out here in the shade for a couple hours, and that's how we'll start this process. The soup is simmering and it's looking really good. Something else though that I forgot to mention about hardening off, if it starts to rain and the totes that you have your plants in do not have drainage on the bottom, you're going to want to watch for that, because you can definitely flood your plants out if the totes begin to fill with water. So if it's going to be a really heavy rain, I always bring mine in or put them in the garage for a little bit, and then I'll bring them back out after the rain's over. But let me show you something else that we have going on here in the kitchen that I mentioned. So here are the duck eggs that are in the incubator that I mentioned. We started out with 13 duck eggs in here, and when I candled them, one was infertile, so we have 12. And then I figured there were 10 extra spots, so I went ahead and threw some chicken eggs in. So duck eggs take 28 days to incubate, and chicken eggs only take 21 days. So what you can do is, if you candle your duck eggs on day 7 and you have some empty spots, if you throw a chicken egg in there on day 7, then both the ducklings and the chicks will hatch on the same day. So that is what we have going on here. And I believe we have about 2 weeks to go. So that'll be really exciting. I sort of have a problem. I can't have an empty incubator in the spring. So I kind of get in over my head and I keep hatching batches of animals, and then I have to figure out what to do with them when we're done. So one day I'll learn not to continue to do this. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy my chicks and ducklings as they hatch. I'm mostly kidding though. I know exactly what I'll do with them when they hatch. The problem when you hatch them is that you can't guarantee the sex of the animals, and so we need to hatch a large amount to guarantee that we're going to get enough females to replace our old laying hens. And so what we do is we just keep all the females, and then any extra males that we hatch end up in the freezer, and that's what will feed our family through the winter. So it's a good thing. I guess it's a good problem to have if you keep incubating and hatching eggs. It just means more meat. It also means more work later on in processing them, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay guys, all I have left is to weed some strawberries and try to plant my onions, but it's looking like it's getting close to lunch, so I probably won't get to this until later. So Benjamin's up from his nap now, and the older kids are all done with their schoolwork. Lunch is already taken care of, and it's just sitting on the stove waiting until everybody gets hungry. I'm between laundry loads. I've got my goal list done for the most part. Oh! So this is exciting. I can just sit here outside in the shade and watch the children play. They're all running past me right now, and this is what it's all about. So I'm just going to enjoy this for a little bit and let them play. We'll eat lunch, we'll take naps. And then this afternoon, hopefully I can get out in the garden. And if I don't, there's always tomorrow. So, yeah. Let's watch the kids play. Back inside with Benjamin. We just finished up lunch, finished cleaning it up, and the soup was definitely a hit. 6 out of 7 of my children ate it, so I always consider that a win if we only have one holdout. So that was good. And now the kids are playing for a little longer, and then I'm going to pull Benjamin and John in and take a nap. Sorry, the baby's being very loud. Quiet, buddy. I definitely need a nap. Benjamin has been cutting his top 4 teeth for the last 2 weeks, and the final one is popping through right now, and last night was pretty rough, so I'm definitely feeling it, and I need some rest. So other than that, it's been a great day. I feel like we accomplished a lot. The kids learned a lot in their school, and we had some fun outside, and just that's all I can ask for. It's a blessed day. So I hope your day was also blessed, and we look forward to seeing you again here in the future. Bye.